Toby, what are you doing? Why? What is going on? So the first thing you're probably wondering is, why have I not recorded actually making this? There's a few reasons. The first reason is when I started making this, I just had a vision in my mind. I just wanted to do it. Well, I do a lot of art, a lot of concept art, so things like this for me aren't unknown. Like, I can kind of whip up things like this quite instinctively. I don't know. It sort of just they just happen. So for me, it's been really nice. Really enjoyed just getting stuck in and just doing it. And there's another reason, is this is actually a little bit of a starter into the next project, which will be filming start to finish for YouTube. I'm looking at probably a weekly release for that. It's really interesting along these lines. The other thing is, as you can see, our wheel is under maintenance. I wanted to see what we could actually do with just this power hammer. There's a lot of information out there about the power hammers and things like that, so I won't dribble on. So I'll talk you through it as I made it. So I started with the top piece. This is an idea I've had in my mind for a while. You can kind of see the fuel tank influence. I had this kind of inverted triangular kind of shape in my mind. Shape starting here, sort of blending back out. That fuel tank kind of feel, I suppose. So that's where I started. The finish isn't, I like it because it's a fish and it's a sculpture, and I like this. I've left that kind of on purpose. I could have gone a bit further with it. But I know that there's a lot of guys out there that use the pneumatic planishing hammers, which I'm sure would get a lovely finish on that. For this next panel, you can see I've got most of the shape up here along this edge, dropping back, and it's actually quite flat here. Again, that is intentional. So the next bit was the under panel. As you can see, it's like you got the belly there. This was brilliant, I will admit, on the power hammer, because you could really focus your attention on the gut, bringing that nice kind of belly into the sweep back. I will admit the power hammer really has come into its territory here, I think, personally, because it's just, for a creative artist's perspective, you know, nimble, like little things like this. Yeah, you could do it on the wheel, but just it's really nice to just kind of really focus on those particular areas. You know, say I wanted to make it look like it had bobbles, you know, you could get that on the power hammer. Do you see where I'm going? So from an artistic point of view, I have to say I'm really impressed with the power hammer for that. The fins were probably the next thing. So how I did these is I basically cut out my 2D fin shape, oversized the bottom so I could weld it. As you can see, I've put shape, for this particular one, I've put shape here, stretched a little bit there so it kind of, and then shrunk the edge in to tuck it in to give it that. Yeah, and this one, a little bit more, probably of a detailed shape, because we've got quite a bit going on really. This one, I've put tons of shape in here, flowing out to there, and then the underneath, I did the same at the front, but then I stretched out the back so that it'd give this little flick. See that little flick? And then welded along the edge and brightened up, then welded over. So the weld is probably around here, and then obviously planished up. The grill, I mean, pretty self-explanatory really. So these little backwards gills, this is something I personally quite like. I like to be very resourceful with, so instead of having to weld a tab on or rivet a tab, I like to utilise everything that's there. So as you can see, that is part of the actual structure that holds that in. I don't like bits. I think you can design things in a way that you don't need loads of bits. And obviously there you go, you can see here Southern Industries logo just in there, polished up a bit. Wired edge, again a very traditional technique that. The cone, I actually got my dad involved with that one. He's got a nice little trick, a little sheet metal trick for measuring out cones and the diameters needed. So it's like, that's obviously a surround, you can sort of see there, and I've welded the back of the cone into that, giving it that kind of exhaust cone feel. That's that. Any questions or comments, feel free to drop them. The next project, definitely keep your eyes open for that. It's probably nearly 10 times the size of that. It's along the same lines. It's proper cool. It is for a customer. He's a brilliant artist. Look out for that. And yeah, thanks for watching.